All right, Machete. So what were you telling me earlier? What happened to your eye?
I had a tumor,
Yeah.
and like I said, I had a traumatic injury that lodged a bone in my brain, right? And nothing was happening for a minute. Come to know that it caused a tumor.
Was the traumatic injury because of the time that you got hit with a baseball bat?
Yes, it broke that bone off the inside of my skull and was lodged inside my brain and was left there by the doctors because at the
Okay.
time it wasn't doing nothing. But with time, it obviously started doing something, and then it created like a blood pocket there, and it started turning into a tumor.
Yeah.
Turned into a tumor. I never felt anything throughout those 2 years. Nothing, no pain, nothing. I was having a lot of seizures, but of course I chucked it up to drugs or withdrawals from the drugs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that's all it was. And tumor started getting more and more. I mean, seizures more frequently, and didn't know nothing until finally I got arrested, and they checked out why I couldn't see. My eye itched really bad one day, and I couldn't see right. It was blurry. So I
Yeah.
started going like this a lot, and I was like, oh, there's eye boogers. Maybe it's eye boogers that's clouding my eyesight. So with the Q-tip, I started wiping around and stuff like that. I started actually putting the Q-tip inside and then like rubbing it on my eye, and yeah, it was like little membranes, kind of like boogers, like the little eye boogers you wake up with in the morning with. It looked
Yeah.
like that, white tissue basically, and clear and stuff. And I kept pulling and pulling, and it was more coming. And I was like, that's why I can't see. It's blurry. So I started cleaning it up more, and I basically tweaked on it. I tweaked on it for a long time until my eye literally looked like a deflated balloon,
Yeah.
and my pupil just went up like that, and it wasn't doing anything no more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't see nothing anymore. Like, it was pitch black then. And it was because with the Q-tip, I was pulling the nerves and everything that's inside your eye that connects to your brain that lets you see. I pulled out through that laceration that
Damn.
tumor made. Yeah, the tumor made the laceration because it was growing, and it
And
couldn't
you
fit no
couldn't
more.
feel no pain when you were doing that?
No pain whatsoever, at all, because
Were
I
you
was,
on any on
yes,
blues
I
or G's?
was, I
Oh
was
yeah. Okay.
on both, and I was shooting up heroin too.
Okay.
So yeah, I was
So
numb,
it was numbing the pain, huh?
numbing the pain, and obviously it wasn't helping the fact that I was on drugs. I didn't want to go to the hospital. I didn't want to do none of the things that you're supposed to be doing. When something like this
Yeah.
happens, people freak out and they're like, whoa, something's wrong, let me
Yeah.
go get it checked. I wasn't, I was like, I'll take care of it later. I'll take care of it later.
Yeah.
I gotta go. And that was it until finally we went to the hospital. And I mean, because of the jail and me getting arrested, it was pretty much forced on me. And that's when I found out that, yeah, there was no home. I made permanent damage to myself. I caused permanent damage
Damn,
to
that's
my
crazy.
body. I actually pulled out my own eyeball out
Ooh.
being on drugs. And it was horrible because I got arrested, and that's when they were trying to get everything done and cleaned up and basically fixed and stuff. And to find all this out while you're sobering up was devastating, because now that I was sound mind and
And
actually
that's how
can
you
think.
actually found out, huh? When you
Yeah,
went to jail?
when I went to jail, and then of course when you're high, when you're on this drug, everything seems so minimal.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a big deal. Nothing does, but it is a big deal.
The blues take priority, huh?
Exactly. It takes that high just takes that whole feeling part of you away. Emotions, it numbs the emotions away, not
Yeah.
just your body. It numbs emotions. So people think that we're mean, that we are careless, we don't care, whatever. We really don't care. We really don't care. It could be something really horrible that in a normal state of mind we would care, but because we're drugged, we don't have that feeling or that care or anything like that. And I didn't care about that at the time. I thought I could still live. Look, I still have my arms, I still have my legs. Let's keep going. But I didn't sit there and think about how debilitating this was going to be of an injury, and it
Yeah.
really is. I'm considered now legally blind. My depth perception is gone, so when people go to give me something, I reach farther or closer, and it's not there. I can't go down the stairs because if I miss a step, and I will miss a step because it's not where it's supposed to be, I will fall. It's a lot of things. I can't drive anymore. Reading, especially when I went to prison, and the first thing you want to do is read because there's nothing else to do, right? And it takes time. It takes time. It makes time go easier. Well, I love to read. I couldn't focus enough because it's hard to read
How
now.
was your experience in prison?
Um, It was good. It was good. I mean, at first it was horrible, of course. You know, nobody wants to be taken away from what they consider normal in their lives or their routine or whatever. So, of course, I was upset over that. Then the withdrawals came, and that was a nightmare. But I already knew about that. Every time, you know, I put myself through this, I have to know that I'm going to end up having to withdraw. So that was a nightmare. But then afterwards, it was kind of like that realization that this is a good thing. It's positive. Like, look, I can wake up in the morning and not do drugs, and I can do just fine. You know, not only that, now I can wake up in the morning, not have one eye, and still be just perfectly fine. I don't need to. I want to. I don't need to.
Is there any violence in there in the prison?
Yes, there is. Not only violence, corruption, liars, the people who work in the facility are, we got to remember that they're people just like us, just like you and me. Just like you and me who have flaws, they have flaws. Just like you and me that sometimes lie, they lie. And
correctional officers?
Correctional officers.
Were they men or women?
Men.
Men?
Men, mostly.
The majority men?
The majority men.
Do you have relationships happening with girls and the COs in there?
Yes.
Yeah?
Very much so. Not relationships, but more like quickies, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you ask them to take you to the chaplain's office, and they go and do their thing, and then that's it.
Because I've heard of it, but I never really
Yes, it's very it's a cesspool for that kind of activity.
Yeah.
Not only within, you know, the COs and the inmates, but like the people in the kitchen, the cooks and stuff like that. Any worker there that comes out, you know, obviously knows that he has the upper hand on the people that are there. And the girls want whatever. I mean, there's girls who will do it just to have a soda brought in for them.
Yeah.
You know, a cigarette, a Marlboro, you know, something like that. And they know, and they'll bring it in and give it to them, and that's it. That's all they need.
What about like girls? Do they have relationships with
it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so much that, I mean, they talk about like, oh, wifey this and about relationships, and you know, that's where I fell in love with my girlfriend, this and that. No, it's a lot more.
Have you ever seen girls that are straight out here and go in there?
Yes, we call it gay for the state.
Okay.
They're gay for the state, only gay while they're in prison.
And then they return back out
and they want to go back to normal. Okay. Yeah, because in there, the gayness is just only because they have a need to fulfill. A sexual need, you know, they're horny or they're, you know, they want to be felt good, and body wants what the body wants, you know, and if that person makes you feel good, then that's what you're going to use.
What about you, Machete? Did you have a relationship with any
no
CO or DO that was in there?
No, but at one point in time when I got locked up in county, I remember taking a shower, and of course the showers have no doors, and there's 6 showers and 6 showers, and they're open, and I'm just standing like this taking a shower, and there's a little girl that just whoop goes right underneath me and starts trying to, you know, kiss me, touch me down there, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Freaking out. And she's like, it's okay, calm down. It's normal here. We all do it. And I'm like, we all do it? Really? Like, okay. Yeah, but after that, I was like, you know, I learned that, no, not everybody does it. Not everybody has to do it, you know. And
I did time when I was a youngster. I was like maybe 20, 21. And I remember I had this CO that had a crush on me, man, and it's crazy, man.
But it is serious. There's a lot of flirting. There's a lot of,
that always,
you know, exactly, because this person is obviously giving a lot of attention all of a sudden, and us, we're starving for that, you know, where opposite sex.
Know, like, and what I noticed too, like when I was in there, there would be these girl COs that they weren't good looking or nothing. You know, they exactly on the bigger side, right? You know, like.
But in there, they were top notch. In there,
they were like princesses.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, their mouth was watering over there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. And that's the same with the guys out there, and they thought they were the big deal and everything, and the girls were like, oh my gosh, you know, making their heads bigger and stuff. But of course, there's the guys that are the only options in there. So yeah, they'll go for it. They'll go for girls who look like guys, you know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of them that I notice now are going into prison and going and having the boy cuts, you know, looking straight like youngsters, like little boys. Yeah. And that turns a girl on automatically. They're all like, oh my God, did you see the new girl? Because he looks like a boy, and give her gifts, feed her, and everything.
I had this experience too when I was actually locked up in reception. It was like Delano up north in California. And there was this, they called her Traviesa, and he was like a transgender or whatever. She came in, and everyone was just going crazy. Oh, look, because she had like the fake boobs and stuff, and it's just like, man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, like, it's not the real thing,
but it's the closest it gets to
your own, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't discriminate on it.
Right.
It's just you trip out because it's like your homies that you're hanging around with, and
that you would never imagine.
You would never think.
Exactly. Like when pushed to a certain extent, you know, the body will do what it needs to do and survive.
Yeah, when you're locked up in there with no other choices.
Yes, you will do whatever it takes to get what you want.
All right. Thank you, Machete.
No problem.
For the interview, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.